Cammy called Tommy as Monty was found on the floor in the hospital room unresponsive. Now he is in surgery while a lawyer already awaits to handle matters with Cammy and Tommy. Tommy will be made the president of the company, and the proceeds will be split across a foundation and a trust that will be handled by Cammy. Tommy believes they should hope for better, but the lawyer tells him that Monty is going to need a heart transplant now, and that means he is incapacitated. So he is essentially the president whether Monty lives or not. He also wants to sort out the $167 million farm out waiting to be executed. Tommy tells Cammy he would want her to be a part of board voting on his decisions, and if she wants, they can cancel all these plans, sell everything, and her family won't have to worry about expenses for their lifetime. However, Cammy tells Tommy that Monty wants to be remembered for how his money was utilized and tells him to take a risk with this farm out. The doctor comes in telling them that Monty is under observation for the next day and his improvement will decide on the chances of his survival. Tommy is in the hospital when the army guy calls him about all the evidence being gone from the site. Tommy tells them that this is the only better way not to stir up things in the worst ways, eventually making them agree to shut up. Angela and Ansley make up the day of all the elders by taking them to the strip club. Ryder playing along is the cherry on top for all the elder women, and of course, he's going to get paid back for it the same way by Ansley. Once everyone is back to the old home, Ansley tells Ryder to visit her at night. Tommy calls Rebecca to meet him, but she considers that he might want to attack her after the threat he made. Tommy tells her he is the president now, and Monty might not make it, but he needs her help in renegotiating the farm-out lease, which she can help him with, provided her skills. Tommy then calls Nate that he will need him for the paperwork. Nate is super annoyed that Rebecca is preferred over him, but for the sake of Tommy, he decides to put aside his ego and be there for him. Ariana is moving things around when she sees Elvio's belongings, and then the pictures of him. Seeing the wedding pictures, Ariana breaks down, probably feeling the guilt of moving on too fast. Meanwhile, Cooper is making his first deal with a farmer whose wells are old and shallow so they don't drill enough. The farmer believes they can't be sold, but Cooper tells him he will sell them and offer him a higher royalty fee for it. He tells the farmer that he plans to put a similar offer to multiple other farmers who won't have such a royalty offer anywhere else, and once stacked together, he will be able to sell them. The farmer eventually signs the deal. At the patch, Tommy narrates the entire concept of horizontal drilling to Rebecca and tells her this is what they refer to as the farm out. He then leaves her to Nate and Dale to understand the numbers and the engineering behind the farm out. He then explains the numbers that what he wants is a deal with a bank where they will pay them for drilling the first few wells, and then when they do more, they get paid more so they don't end up bankrupt if the initial wells turn out to be dry. Rebecca questions if this is what has been causing earthquakes in Oklahoma, to which Dale chuckles that Oklahoma used to have earthquakes before this too. Rebecca follows Tommy, telling him she has a hard time abdicating for something that she considers wrong. But Tommy tells her that the world has been built on oil, and unless it starts running on something else, they have no choice but to use it. He also adds she can go green if she wants to, but with her using a horse and living in a tent, no difference in the world will be made. As Tommy is traveling back, the drug dealers abduct him. They take him to one of the sites of the oil wells and blow them up in front of him. Tommy tells them that the sensors embedded in those wells are going to alert the OSHA and other authorities, so they have just dug a grave for themselves. This seems to trigger the guy even more, who tells Tommy that this wasn't a message, it was a warning. The message would be Tommy himself. With that, they cover Tommy's face with a cloth and take him somewhere again. Ariana is full-on breaking down seeing pictures of Elvio and feeling bad about herself. When Cooper comes back, she puts the albums away and runs to the washroom, opening a shower so he would neither come in nor hear her sobs. However, when she came out, Cooper had already opened the albums and understood that she had a rough day. Ariana shares the pain of replacing Cooper with Elvio and giving him Elvio's place in her heart. Cooper wants to help, so he subtly starts talking about the memories Ariana has with Elvio, making her share them wholeheartedly. Ariana realizes what he did and thanks him for it. Ryder visits Norris's house, only to get bullied by Dale at the door for simply asking if Ansley is there. Once he is done playing, he welcomes Ryder, who goes up to Ansley's room for his show waiting there. Ansley performs the same way for him till things get intimate between them. On the other hand, Tommy is taken underground to a bar where the guy is ready to torture him to death. The guy, Jimenez, seems to have a beef with Tommy because Tommy knows he is not the boss no matter how much he pretends to be. Jimenez tortures Tommy by clinking a hammer at different things around to scare him. He then slams the hammer right across Tommy's face, bruising it pretty hard, probably. He also pours gasoline over him, making Tommy challenge him to burn him alive if he wants. However, Jimenez just wants to build anticipation of Tommy not knowing where he will be lit on fire. Things start getting messy when Jimenez takes a nail and hammers it down on Tommy's leg pretty brutally. Back at home, Angela has started to worry because Tommy is not picking up her calls. Dale calms her down that Tommy must be in the hospital for Monty. Although feeling uncomfortable, Angela decides to settle with the thought and leaves to sleep. Ansley is happy to finally sleep in the arms of her boyfriend rather than just having physical interactions with him. She convinces Ryder to stay even though the chances of Tommy beating him are 100%. Before things can get worse for Tommy, gunshots are heard in the room, but not one reaching Tommy. Soon all the abductors are dead and another Mexican makes Tommy get untied. He is Galeno, the real boss of the cartel. He offers Tommy a cigarette, which Tommy gladly accepts, letting his luck be tested on whether he'll perish in flames or not. Galeno tells Tommy that he knows the two of them need to coexist and be friends, but Tommy believes these two professions can never be friends. What they can maybe do is never run into each other, and if they do, just resolve things and end it politely. Galeno believes that the two professions have the same kinds of business, money, connections, and even enemies, so they can be friends, but eventually accepts the not crossing paths part. Galeno then gets a text about the place going to get raided and helps Tommy to escape through a secret route. Once Tommy is out, he tells him about the washroom and that he can call a friend to pick him up. Things between them seem calm as Tommy and Galeno decide to meet someday to talk about their shared land. Dale comes pick Tommy up and keeps pestering him to go to a doctor, but Tommy is too stubborn to agree. In parallel, Monty cannot fight through his heart issues and leaves Cammy and his daughters alone this young. Tommy decides to tell Angela that he was in a car wreck, but when Angela wakes up and sees him bruised up on the couch, she knows he wasn't in a wreck. The woman is sure that he would have called her if it was a wreck. Tommy calms her down, telling her that there are things he cannot tell her, so she shouldn't ask much about it. Even though it is hurting Angela to see him like that, she tells him she'll make breakfast for him. As the family prepares for breakfast, Tommy goes out, sees the beginning of the day, and notices a stray coyote, warning it to run as they kill coyotes here.